Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Ashley. So today I want to walk you guys through my current go-to everyday makeup look. I realized I have never done one of these. So I'm going to show you kind of just the products that I've been reaching for from day to day and kind of the look I've been going for. As you can see, I've definitely been going for soft, glowy, feminine. That's kind of been, I would say, like the top 3 key descriptors that I've been kind of gravitating towards over the last couple weeks for makeup. I'm not sure what kind of kicked in, but I felt really bronzy at the beginning of July, and then over the past couple weeks I've just been like, oh, let's get soft, and I don't know. I think it's because the France thing. It's the France thing. I have a thing for France right now. Before we get into the makeup, please make sure that you are subscribed. It brings me joy, Marie Kondo style. Also, it gives you the chance to enter my monthly giveaway. So most days I have been starting out using this Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I know there's a lot of different ways you can use this, but I just like using it as a primer. I've shown this in a video a couple of times now. It was in a first impressions, and then it also was in my full face of Charlotte Tilbury. I've just been loving like the glow that it gives. So I've found myself reaching for this on most days, and I have found that it wears really beautiful under most of the foundations that I have. I'm not sure that I've tried every one of my foundations with this yet, but my most frequently used ones I definitely have, and I like the way it looks. If you haven't heard me say it before, I like to use a foundation brush. This one is from BK Beauty. I like to use a foundation brush to blend it in, just because I feel like that way I don't blend too much of the glow out, since what I really want is that glow. I don't want to like blend it into the point that I lose it. I apologize for my hoarse voice. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit better as we go along, but when I first start talking, it's always kind of So I have been loving this Yves Saint Laurent Touche Eclat all-in-one glow. This is a fresh dewy makeup. You have to shake it good. You have to shake it good. You have to shake it well. I mentioned that when I tried it in the first impressions video a couple weeks ago. I've really been enjoying it since then. Now, I've tried it a couple different ways. One of you were kind enough to let me know that I think it's like meant to be used with your fingers to kind of activate something, but I'm not sure what. I have tried it that way. I've tried it with a sponge, and I do actually end up liking it with a brush best. And I like to go in very, very light with this. I have just been kind of really going for a lighter coverage over the past few weeks, and I'm not really sure what it is. I just feel like it's been more flattering on me lately to kind of go with a light coverage, kind of be able to see skin. I'm not sure if it's because I finally realized it was summer, now that summer's about to end, which is so sad. I mean, I like the fall, but I just feel like August is one of the most hectic months for me every year, as is September. So I kind of always miss the end of summer, I think, because I'm just so busy that I don't really get to like enjoy that last little bit. So I'm not sure why, but I just have found that I've been liking a lighter coverage. So I'm really going in with like the smallest amount of product, because I don't want that much coverage. I want to be able to see my skin through it. I just kind of want to even everything out. This is a very dewy finish. It is so beautiful. If you have dry skin and you really like a dewy finish, you might really enjoy this, especially if you're looking for something that can be like a lighter to medium coverage. I'm not sure you could build, I mean, I've not tried to build this up to full coverage. I never really try to build anything up to full coverage, so I'm not the best person to ask about that, but I definitely have been using it as like a lighter coverage option, and I found that I really like it. I think when I use just a little bit of it, as I'm doing today, and I put it on with a brush, what I found is I kind of get just a little bit more coverage than a tinted moisturizer. I don't always love tinted moisturizers. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like they slip too much. My current favorite tinted moisturizer is the La Mer. I spoke about it in my most recent favorites video. That is such a beautiful tinted moisturizer, but I haven't been really using that on days when I put on other makeup. I've only really been using that on days that I just put on the tinted moisturizer and then maybe a little bit of blush, and it's so beautiful that way. But on days when I have been doing, you know, some actual makeup, throwing on some concealer and powder, I've really been loving this foundation. I just feel like it's just one step above a tinted moisturizer, and I love, love, love the finish. I also love how the next products that I'm gonna put on my face lay on top of it. So I've kind of switched up the order that I've been going in lately for my everyday makeup, and I have been going in with contour next. And I've been using this Face Trace contour stick from WESTMAN Atelier. I got this a long time back and I kind of put it on the back burner for a while, and then I pulled it back out a couple weeks ago and I've been using it almost daily. I really, really like it. The brush that I use for my nose contour is this Emax Design brush, and I basically just go in, you'll see often I go down like a straight line and then pull it into my brow. That's kind of how I like to do it. So I've kind of changed the order because this would not normally be the step that I do right after my foundation. But when I was doing my full face of Charlotte Tilbury video, when I was researching that video, I started doing this just because the contour from Charlotte Tilbury, it spreads a lot, and so I would always need to go in and clean it up with my concealer. So I ended up starting to do this step right after foundation, and I kind of ended up liking how it looks. I feel like when I do this step right after foundation, I kind of go in a little less with other stuff. I'm not really sure why. I think it might be because I'm giving, you know, a little bit more definition to my face, and so then, you know, I feel a little more put together and I don't end up like overcompensating with my concealer. So I've just found that this is kind of the way that I enjoy doing it right now. And so I just apply that right to the face, and then I blend it out with, this is a 102 Silk Finish brush from Zoeva. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes of all time, and I really like using it for contour because I feel like it just gives me a good, soft, diffused contour, which is what I've been going for lately. I'm kind of enjoying going with a little bit more, I'm not even sure if I would call it natural. I feel like what I'm going for more often now is just soft. Like I really am enjoying having soft makeup. The colors I'm picking are a little bit softer than, you know, I wouldn't say that I've ever gone with colors that were very bold, but I feel like I've been really leaning towards, you know, soft and diffused, and I really like kind of like the blur effect and just feeling like I'm wearing makeup that's just, you know, nice and pretty and very straightforward. I always reach like this to hold that earring so that I can contour my jaw. I don't know why. On this side I just do this, but on this side I like reach around. I'm not sure why I do that. I haven't been contouring my chin. I started doing that not that long ago, and it's just a step that I've ended up scrapping from my routine lately. So I've just been doing the jaw, and then I kind of just do right here. I've not been putting any additional product there. I already have a pretty pronounced chin because I do have a heart-shaped face, which is something I talked about in my beauty biography tag video. If you haven't seen that yet, I will link it up above and down below so that you can check it out. I talk about a lot of things in that video, just about like my face shape, my eye shape, my skin type, things that I think can kind of help you out if you're wondering if some of my recommendations will work for you or if they won't. All right, we're gonna jump around, and this is again completely out of my normal order. I'm gonna do brows next. Listen, I've just kind of really changed up a lot of my like go-to steps, the order of them. It's very weird. I'm not sure kind of what happened. I think it's just from trying so many different products, and you know, over the last few months, I've just kind of figured out that there are some things that work better in a different order for me. So I've been doing my brows next, and I find that I like that because if I have anything that gets smudged or messed up, I can kind of go back in with my concealer when I do that step, which is next. For brows, I don't think I'm gonna show, I mean, I guess we can talk a little bit about it, but I do my brows every time, and I feel like maybe it's super boring. Let me know, are you bored of me doing my brows on camera? I'm using the DIOR brow styler. It's a brow pencil from DIOR and I'm in the shade 11 Blonde. So I just, you know, I just do like little hair strokes. My brows are already pretty full on their own. They're not like, you know, Brooke Shields, but I'm not really lacking any brow hairs. So I just kind of like to fill in any little gaps and just accentuate the shape that they're already in. I have long ago stopped trying to change my brow shape. This is my brow shape. It is what it is. I feel like it suits my face just fine, so I don't fight it. I don't fight my natural brow shape. I just, you know, go in and fill in the same direction as the hairs. So here at the front, right here, I just go straight up following the hairs, And then as we go over here, I just follow the exact grain. I do the strokes the same way that the actual hairs are going. So one thing that I feel like is really the secret to brows is just once you've penciled them in, just like repeatedly brush them. And then I feel like it just distributes the product so that everything looks a little bit more natural. I also like to just use one of these spoolies. I have so many of these. I get them from Amazon since I get eyelash extensions. And a lot of times I'll just brush my brows out with these. My brow philosophy is just like repeatedly brush. That's how I do it. And then I go ahead and set them. I almost always use this 24-hour brow setter from Benefit. It's really good. I sweep up. Again, I just kind of follow the direction of the hair a little bit. I feel like I'm always going kind of in like a diagonal once I get over here. And then at the front, I go straight up. I feel like this brow gel is one of the best ones I've ever used. My brows actually hold. A lot of times I feel like I put on a brow gel and all it does is make my brow hairs crunchy. It doesn't actually do any holding. This one holds and my brows don't feel crunchy. I don't notice that I lose any brow hairs when I take it off at night. So I really like these two brow products. These have been favorites for many months now, and these are like my go-to brow products. So, all right, moving on to concealer. So I only have a mini one left. I need to get another full size. I cannot believe that I only have a mini left of this because this has been one of my go-to concealers for years. I've spoken of this before. It is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I use the shade Light 2 Vanilla, and I just kind of go in. I at first put like a little bit right here to kind of clean up my nose contour, and I get in the inner corner, as you can see right there. And I've been using a little bit less lately, which is surprising. And if you're looking at this and thinking, wow, that's still a lot, I promise you this is a lot less than what I used to use. And I have been using a Real Technique sponge to blend this out. I've tried so many different concealers over the past few months, and really the only one that I super have like really loved has been the Kosas. And then oddly enough, one day I realized that the Kosas is a little too yellow for me. And I don't know why I didn't initially notice that. I think maybe I was like self-tanning a little bit too much. And so it wasn't looking too bad. But I just kind of noticed, once I noticed it that first time, it was like I couldn't unnotice it. And so now I feel like that is so yellow for me. So I have gone back to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer because I haven't found anything else that really works well on my under eyes that doesn't crease or feel a little drying. I have yet to find one that really stands up. I have used a couple that have seemed really good at first glance, or they're really good with one powder, but then they don't work with another powder, or after I've worn them a couple times, I notice that I'm a little drier under my eyes at night after I take it off. So yeah, I just am back on my holy grail, the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and you'll see I lighten the middle of my face. I don't know, it's one of those habits I can't let go of. I just like what it does so much. And also I like that when I do that on my nose, it kind of brings the whole nose contour together. All right, moving on, we're gonna set the under eyes. I have been using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. Oh my gosh, you guys. Love this, love this. This was a find from my Charlotte Tilbury, Full Face of Charlotte Tilbury video, and I am so happy I found this. The finish really is flawless. It has a very nice blurring effect. It doesn't dry me out. It really does blur. It is absolutely just such a beautiful powder. I have been using it to set my under eyes, and I feel like that's just so crazy because for years I have been using the Hourglass Veil Powder. So for me to kind of switch up my everyday routine is a big deal. I'm also gonna just set a little bit where I put that concealer in the middle of my face. I am very careful about this. I do use just a tiny bit when doing this because if I use too much, then basically you'll be able to really tell that I did that. Just because this does blur so much, you'll be able to see the difference because my forehead does tend to have It's weird. It's like skin texture. Like you just can see that it's skin. That's such a weird, I don't know how to explain it. It's not texture like dry patches. It's literally just texture like I can see like the little, I don't know, like epithelials of my skin. I don't know. So if I use too much of this right there, it becomes really, really obvious that I did. So I've been using just a little bit, and then I take this powder brush. This is a Sephora Pro Flawless Light Powder, brush 50. I don't know if they still make this. And I just kind of like do this to make sure that I'm properly blended. All right, moving on to eyes. I will say that for my eyes, I have really been focused on two things. One, the color scheme has been very like, I've been really going for pinks. For some reason, I think it's because the Charlotte Tilbury video, that Pillow Talk palette kind of pulled me towards that color scheme. So I've been loving that color scheme. And also I've really been focusing a lot on kind of elongating my eyes. That's just a frequent go-to for me, so not surprising there. So almost always when I'm doing my eyes, the first thing that I do is I just take whatever powder I'm using and I throw it all over my eyelid. Yeah, my eyelid. All the way from the bottom lash line up to my eyebrow. I just feel like I get a better blend when I do that. I feel like my brush doesn't catch on anything and I just kind of have like a base skin color layer. I tend to like to do this better than I like using any kind of eyeshadow base. So that is normally my first step. And then I have been using one of the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks just in this inner half of my eye on the lid. So I will show you what that looks like. It's just right here. Like here. That's kind of where I stop. This is like a champagne color. This is called Moonlight. So this has been my go-to kind of like first step, has been to put some kind of cream product down on this inner half, this first half of the lid, just from the lash line to my crease. I don't really go up into the crease. If it gets a little bit up in there, it's not a huge deal. I use a couple different cream products for this, but this one is the one that I have been reaching for the most lately. And I just think it's so beautiful, and it does really well as kind of a little bit of a base. And you'll see already on the inner corner, that's so sparkly. We're gonna put some powder shadows down next, but I just have been loving this as kind of something to keep my eye feeling really light reflective and really soft and just dazzly. It feels very dazzly. So for eyeshadow, I have been using this palette a lot. This is one of my like little edit palettes from Busy Art. This is the Rosé edit. Their Aperol Spritz palette was one of my top 10 of 2020 so far. And I don't know why. I just started pulling this one out. Again, I think because of those pinks from the Pillow Talk palette, but these are just such beautiful, soft kind of rose colors, and I've been loving them. So I'm gonna take this pink right here, and I'm just gonna get it on this is an E25 blending brush. And I go on the outer corner where it's, you know, blank, where I didn't put the caviar stick, and then I go into the crease, and I go all the way from the outer corner into the inner corner, and then I just blend that out really nicely. Everything I do is easy, so if you're ever coming here expecting that we're gonna do something really difficult, I hate to break it to you, it's probably not gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen. I am someone who by nature feels like makeup products should be intuitive to use, they should work well, and I shouldn't have to work that hard at something that I just enjoy doing for fun. That's who I am. It's just who I am. So you'll see that's just such a soft, pretty pink. I absolutely love the Busy Art formula. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take this light brown next. I use the same brush because why not? And I go over the same area. I just keep it a little bit tighter in the crease when I'm doing the crease portion. Again, like I said, I don't like anything that feels too difficult, especially with eye makeup. I love these Busy Art edit palettes. They're so easy to travel with. I spoke about that in my top 10 of 2020 so far video. And I really do mean it, just because you can get so many just lovely curated colors together, but they're so small that you can easily travel with them. Like you can pop like 3 or 4 of these in a travel bag and they take up the same amount of space as like one regular palette. I absolutely love that about those. We're only going to use 3 shadows out of this. The last one is this one right here in the corner. It's a very sparkly shade. I just put it on a flat shader brush and I pack it right over where I put the caviar stick. I've just really been loving like light reflective, soft, very feminine makeup. And then I'm gonna go back over, kind of blend any little edges, especially right here, kind of that little transition from matte into the, you know, sparkly shade. And that's it for the top lid. All right, now the eyeliner I'm gonna use might throw you off a little bit, but just trust me, I'm gonna be using this Marc Jacobs eyeliner. This is the shade Top Brass. It is a brass color, which I get like with this kind of cool light pink might be kind of odd of a choice. But since I have blue eyes, I really like the way that like a nice like brassy color looks against my eyes. And I only use this white right in the waterline. So I feel like it works really well. And I love these pencils so much for the waterline because they keep the metallic even though you're using them in the waterline. So many eyeliners do not stay metallic, but this one does, and it holds really well in there. It doesn't irritate my eyes. I just really, really love his eyeliners. Now I'm only gonna use this light brown shade on the bottom. I'm not gonna go in with that pink just because it is a little bit cooler and I don't wanna kind of look tired under there. So I just take a pencil brush and I do like, I would say, I deposit product on like the outer third and then blend it in about a little more than halfway. I don't like to do anything like exactly halfway on the lower lash line. I just feel like it looks kind of disconnected when you do that. So I either like to do a third or 2/3 in. So on this, I go in about the first third and then pull it about to the second third. All right, then that's it for eyeshadow. I usually just brush out my eyelash extensions and then I throw like a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes and then I'm done with eyes. All right, moving on to blush. If you saw my most recent favorites video, it will not be a surprise to you that I'm going to be using the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade Do We Know Her. I really like using a sponge with this. I pick up a little bit on the sponge and then that's how I apply it and then also blend it out. I have tried this with a brush as well, but I really found that the best way for me is to apply with a sponge and also blend out with a sponge. This is a really nice peachy coral. I absolutely love this. I feel like it is so flattering. I also love the formula. It's a really good formula. It stays really well. I love this concept of doing the cream and the powder together. I think that's such a good idea. With my blush, I always kind of go like right here, kind of go along up the cheekbone because that's how my cheekbones go. I like where they are, so I just follow them. I follow their lead. I also always just put a touch here above my brow bone. I really don't know who taught me to do that. I really can't. A lot of things like that I do in my routine, I remember kind of where I picked them up. This part, I really genuinely don't. And I've done it forever. All right, all done with brush. I'm gonna go in and layer some bronzer because that's something I really like doing. I feel like it just kind of makes the look a little more finished and polished. So I'm gonna be using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. I have the shade 2 medium, and I like to use that Sephora number 50 brush I was talking about. I swirl in there, and I just kind of like to swirl around the face, kind of just the perimeter where I put my cream contour, and I just like to get down here as well, just a little bit. And I do like to just go a little bit right over the nose, like on the sides. Bam. I love that bronzer. I feel like it gives you kind of the same blurring that you get from the powder. I just, oh my gosh, absolutely love it. And it's so big. I don't know if it's really, I mean, it feels like it's huge. Let's see, this is 0.8 grams and this is 0.16 grams. Yeah, it's literally 2 times the size of the powder. It's just like such a big, it's like a nice pretty clamshell. Absolutely have been loving this. All right, highlighter. We are gonna be using the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. Oh my gosh, absolutely love this, but have to be so sparing with it. I hate the packaging on this daggum thing. Like, did I get any? Oh, did I turn it off? No, it's on. I'm telling you, I hate the packaging on this daggum thing, and now it's leaking on me. But it's so pretty that it's like, it's worth it. Now, this looks really nice on top of powder as long as you're very, very sparing with it. Like, you do not need much of this at all. And in fact, if you use too much, you could really end up looking metallic. But when used very sparingly, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So I just put it on, again, just like you can see, like the tiniest amount. And then I use a Real Techniques setting brush and I just blend it out with that brush. Ooh. The sun has gone behind the clouds because it felt like it, and it doesn't want my video to appear evenly lighted. No, I'm just kidding. The sun does not care about me. It has nothing to do with me. So I just blend that out and you'll see it's just so glowy. With that tiny amount, you really cannot use much more than what I used, because if you do, it really will, it can look metallic. It can look like you just have like a rose gold streak on your face. You really have to be very conservative with this product. Real Techniques has so many good brushes. I absolutely adore Real Techniques. All right, now we're gonna finish up with lips. For lips, I've not really been using a lip liner a lot. I have just been using my go-to favorite lipstick. It is the color Faux from MAC. My lips are pretty defined. I have a good amount of pigment naturally, so I don't find that lip liners are always necessary for me, and I've been kind of skipping that step lately and just throwing on a lipstick. And I have kind of two different routes. I either just leave it like this because I like this nice kind of satin lip finish. It's just really nice. I like that it's not matte, but it's also not glossy. So I do sometimes stick with this. But more times than not, I have been using a gloss, and I have been using this gloss from Givenchy. This is the Liquid Balm, and I absolutely love this. This is Solar Pink. I've spoken about this at length as well. I absolutely love the color. I love that it gives like a little bit of like a peachy coral shift to it, and it just glosses it up a little bit. I also really love the way that this feels on my lips. It feels kind of nourishing. It just feels like there's something there. I don't know, I've kind of really gotten used to using this because I have been reaching for it so often. Even if I don't initially put it on, I found that I then reach for it later in the day and apply it. It's just a really nice color, and the formula is also really, really nice. Alrighty. Oh, I need to spray my face. My favorite setting spray, Cover FX. Oh, so good. So good. All right, guys, that is it. This is my current go-to everyday makeup look. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below, what are your kind of everyday products that you've been reaching for lately? I thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, you can always chat with me in the comment section or over on Instagram. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Take care of yourself. Bye.